Hey, this is Lewis from SoFly. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a cool triangle sidebar reveal animation effect. Okay, so let's get started. So in Oxygen, I have a new blank page. I'm going to add a div to this page, and then inside the div, I'm just going to put in some dummy content from the next design set. And then we're going to go to the div. Your content has to be in a div for this, by the way. So if you have a page, you want to add this effect to an existing page, just put your content in a div and then set the div to be height 100 VH and position tab over scroll, scroll. Over scroll is scroll. Okay, now for the actual sidebar itself, let's add another div to our page. And we are going to call this div sidebar, and we will make it 300 pixels wide, position absolute, 0 pixels from the top, 0 pixels from the left, a minimum height, min height of 100 VH, and we will set the background to this image which I've already uploaded, resize to cover the entire div, and we will put a sort of a dark tint on the background, so our light text that we're going to use looks good over it. Okay, it looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and put 30 pixels of padding on all sides of this, and then design our ad content itself. So first thing we're going to do is add another div. We'll call this add top, and inside this div we are going to have our logo image. So add an image, paste in the logo URL. We'll make this 120 pixels wide. And below the logo image, we are going to have a little special offer label. So white text, 14 pixels, background color of sort of reddish pink. And we will set this to display as an inline block, and padding of 3 pixels on the top and the bottom, 8 pixels on the left and right, and then we'll go to the logo, put some bottom margin on it. Now we want the logo to be centered, so we'll put margin auto on either side, and then we want the special offer to be centered as well, so we'll just go to the add top div and center everything inside of it. Okay, now for the ad body itself, we'll go back to the sidebar div. We'll add another div. We'll put 70 pixels of margin on the top of it, and we'll call this div add body. And everything inside the add body is going to be centered as well. I will add a heading. Use 24 pixels, white, and since it's a narrow sidebar, I'll use a light font weight for narrow text. And then we'll duplicate this to make a subheading. We'll make it smaller and normal weight. Let's add some margin below the heading. And then below the subheading, we'll add a separator. So I'm going to make a div, height of 1 pixel, 40 pixels margin on either side, and a white background that's very transparent. Okay, now back in the add body, I'm going to add another div. This is going to be a testimonial, so it's going to have testimonial text. It's going to be a text block, Georgia, 24 pixels, white, and then this is going to be the testimonial author. It's going to be default font, slightly transparent, 13 pixels, slightly bold. And let's add some space below the actual testimonial text. And then let's duplicate this, add some top margin. And then below these testimonials, but still inside the add body, we will add a button. So we will put some top margin on the button and change the text to get oxygen now, white text, 14 pixels, and let's use this same red background. 8 pixels of padding on the top and the bottom, 15 pixels on the left and the right, and a 3 pixel border radius. Okay, looks good. Let's save this and take a look on the front end. And once we confirm this looks good, we'll go ahead and animate it. Okay, it looks great. So now we got to make it look like a triangle, and we got to move this stuff into view. So first thing we'll do is move the add body into view when the div is hovered. So to do that, we're going to go sidebar on hover. So we'll add a custom style sheet. Sidebar add, edit. So I'm going to go sidebar hover, add body, left 0 pixels. And then what we're going to do by default is set the add body's left. We'll make it position relative, set the left to -300 pixels. So now you hover over, this comes into view. We want to make it come into view smoothly. So we're going to set a transition property. Transition 0.3 seconds, ease in, out, all. And now when you hover over, this is going to come into view smoothly. Next thing we want to do is get this aligned left when we're not hovering over the sidebar, but aligned center when we are. So here's a very cool trick to do that. You want everything that you want to center, you want it set up in a div that's aligned center. And then what we're going to do is just set the width of this div to 0 pixels with 0px. And to stop this from going multi-line, what we'll do is set the white space property to no wrap. Now it won't wrap the words. And this div now has a width of 0 pixels. Now what we need to do is set the width to 100% once we hover over the sidebar. So we'll go back to our style sheet and we'll go sidebar, hover, add top with 100%. And now that centers nicely as well. To get a smooth transition on this, we'll go ahead and go transition 0.3 seconds, ease out, all. I don't want an ease in because I want it to start the animation quickly and then slow down at the end. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now let's go ahead and create the actual triangle effect on the advertisement sidebar itself. So to do that, we're going to use the WebKit clip path property. WebKit clip path, and we're just going to clip it into the shape of a triangle. So we'll start at 0px, 0px. Sorry, you have to go polygon. Polygon, starting at 0, 0, and then we'll add the rest of our coordinates. So we're going to go to 250px, 0px. Then we're going to add another coordinate down here at 0px, 250px. That's going to make the triangle. And then we want another coordinate down here just so we can animate it nicely. So this last one is going to be at 0px, 100vh. And that's how it looks normally. Now on hover, we are going to make it 300 pixels wide, 100 VH tall. Sorry, we need to put this at 300 px, 100 VH because it's 300 pixels wide, and then the last coordinate's going to be 0. So 0px, 0px, 300 px, 0px, 300 px, 100 VH, 0px, 100 VH. So now on hover, this will change size. Now what we need to do is animate this slowly. So what we're going to do is go transition 0.4 seconds, ease in, out, all. And now this animates slowly. Let's take a look on the front end. And here we go. Looks pretty good, but not perfect. What's going on here is this add body is sliding out a little too soon. We want the add body to wait to slide out until this sidebar is sort of shaped like a rectangle. So to do that, we're going to use the transition delay property. So when the add body is revealed, we want a little delay. So we're going to go transition delay 0.3 seconds. So now it's going to wait 0.3 seconds before doing the transition. And on the slide out, there is no delay whatsoever. Now, what we also want to do is allow this add body to slide out before the sidebar resizes. So on the sidebar original state, we're going to add a transition delay of 0.3 seconds. So you go in, waits 0.3 seconds, you go out, it waits 0.3 seconds. However, we only want it to wait 0.3 seconds when it goes out. When it goes in, we don't want it to wait at all. So that means on hover, we'll just go transition delay 0 seconds. And now no delay on the way in, slight delay on the way out. Maybe 0.3 seconds is a bit long. Let's try 0.2 seconds. 0.1. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, now for the finishing touches. This effect is not compatible with all browsers, Internet Explorer. So what we're going to do is add an X to the top, so in Internet Explorer, the user could actually close this advertisement. So to do that, we're going to take the sidebar, we're going to add an icon inside the sidebar. We're going to position this absolute, 12 pixels from the right, 12 pixels from the top. We're going to make it a little X icon. Let's see, close, maybe circle X. Here we go, there's our close icon. We'll make it white. And let's say 16 pixels. Maybe 20 pixels. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now what we're going to do is just make this close the sidebar on click. So we'll go jQuery, in the JavaScript tab. You better do that in the JavaScript tab. jQuery element ID off click, and then on the click function jQuery sidebar toggle. So I don't want to actually hide the sidebar when I click it now. So just to test that this works, I'm going to remove this line, hit apply, click this. Okay, this code works. So we're just then going to toggle the sidebar on the front end. I won't test it now because it'll hide the sidebar in Oxygen, then I'll have to reload the page. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the front end and take a look. Okay, looks pretty good. And as you can see, we can scroll the page without the triangle moving. And the triangle is the size of the viewport. Looks pretty good. A couple other finishing touches. This effect on mobile is not going to be good. It's going to cover way too much of the page. Don't annoy your users on mobile with sidebars or ads. So you know what we're going to do on mobile to make this responsive? We're not. Just on all devices less than 768 pixels, this is going to display none. We're just not going to display it. Then another finishing touch is right now I've used WebKit ClipPath because I'm using Google Chrome, so this will work in Chrome and Safari. To get it to also work in Firefox, we're just going to copy this into the ClipPath property. And this will make sure that one day when Internet Explorer supports ClipPath, it'll work in Internet Explorer as well. And then we'll just set this same clip path for the property for the hover state. Okay, there we go. So this will maximize browser compatibility. And in Internet Explorer, they got the X button so they can close the ad. Looks pretty good. Let's take one last look on the front end. And that is how to create a cool sidebar reveal effect with Oxygen. Thank you for watching. Okay, welcome to part 2 of the video where I fix a bug in part 1. So one thing I noticed is that if your browser viewport is smaller than the ad is, then it clips it at the height of the browser viewport and you can't see the rest of the ad. Even though you can scroll to it, it's being clipped off. It would be displaying there, but it's clipped away. So to fix that, what we're going to do is set in the sidebar all instances of 100 VH to just a number bigger than the ad's height, say 1200, and probably bigger than the average browser's height as well. So we'll say 1500 pixels, 1500 pixels, 1500 pixels, 1500 pixels, 1500 pixels, 1500 pixels. And it's kind of a shame we have to do this, but we do. So now on smaller browser sizes, you'll be able to scroll down and see the entire ad. Okay, thank you for watching.